Hi, y'all. I'm Amari.
And I'm Jude.
And we are two goths in a coffin. And it's been a while since we've been on videos, so we're a little giggly.
It has been. We're trying a couple things with the setup. We're doing whatever. It is what it is. And we're tired.
Yeah,
so
we are
perfect
tired.
Cocktail.
We just came out of the Dallas Oddities and Curiosities Expo. That was really nice.
Yeah.
We posted little TikToks of the things that we bought, and we did spend money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The bank account is hurting a little bit, but we got some good shit.
Yes.
So...
but today what we wanted to do was we've seen, like, people doing their favorites.
Yeah, and since it's been a while since we've done, like, our little podcast videos, and we've done some streaming, but it's been a while since we've sat down and, like, talked about, just, like...
Yeah.
We've done really any reviews or talked about, like, the things that we've been watching. So we decided that it would be great to do, like, a mid-year check-in, basically, of our top 5 favorites and a few honorable mentions as well.
Yes.
I'm so excited to get into that.
Yeah, I think a fun way to do the format is we go back and forth.
Yeah.
So we each chose 5 faves and then a handful of honorable mentions. Because we watch a lot of stuff together, there's going to be some overlap.
Yeah.
But we try to do a mix of things. It's movies, it's music, it's books, it's video games. So, we're doing that, some honorable mentions. Also stuff we're liking that's in progress that we haven't finished yet. But we just want to mention that we're enjoying so far.
Exactly.
Yeah, so...
We're going to start it right off with, I guess, our number one? Well, my number one.
We'll start off because this is also the first thing both of us wrote down.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with Sinners.
I mean, what'd you think? What'd you think I was going to say? Like, so, oh my gosh. So we're just going to spend, like, a few minutes talking about each thing. But
yeah, try and keep it, like, kind of concise.
Gosh, I know that we all have loved Sinners.
Yes.
It was just such an amazing film. And it still gives me, like, chills and gives me such, like, strong emotions to this day. And it hasn't been that long, but, like, I've seen it 3 times at this point. There's just something so special within it. This, like, pure love for, like, Black culture and specifically Southern Black culture, without having to, like, have a lot of, like, Americana symbols in it, which I appreciate for me personally, but it's still, like, deeply, deeply, like, just demonstrating its love for the culture. And it's just, it's so good. There's a lot that I still want to be able to talk about with this film. I really want to talk about, like, what white vampirism looks like for, like, Black folks. And, but yeah, what that looks like and what that really means. And what it means, like, to really be a Black vampire and how, like, how white vampirism looks like when it's, like, white violence towards, like, Black folks. But yeah, it's just so good and it's so beautiful. The acting is amazing. Oh my god, everyone is just. I just love this movie so much. I'm so excited for it to come out on Blu-ray. I'm going to be buying that immediately.
I was so excited that it was good. I remember thinking in the theater, I was like, I'm so glad this movie's good because there's been so many things that have been hyped up that haven't been good. Nosferatu. That just didn't live up or didn't, like, fully, I feel like, go for it. And I think something else that was really refreshing is that it is an original film.
Yes.
It's not an IP, existing IP. And to be able to really get everyone so invested in the characters, spend a lot of time with the community to understand the loss of the community once it happens, I think is so masterfully done.
Yes.
And I think the conversations that are being had in that movie are simultaneously very prominent but also not ham-fisted. So
sometimes that happens.
yeah, it's having a conversation that's far more nuanced than I think I was expecting. I think there's been a couple of horror movies that have been like, we're talking about racism and it's very two-dimensional, or I'm like, it would have been nice to get into this, that, and the other, but this one's very intentional and very nuanced and has a lot of elements and facets and layers to it.
God.
That I
really
think
want
is
to talk
really
about
great.
the twins. We've had so many conversations about the twins.
Oh my god. The twins.
That I haven't seen a lot of people really talk about.
Yeah, I think I do enjoy the conversations I've seen about the relationships, like the romantic relationships in the show,
Especially
but in the
Annie and
show,
Smoke.
the movie, especially like them. But I feel like I haven't seen enough people talk about the extremely fascinating relationship between the brothers, the Smokestack twins. So very not in. I was gonna say a very gothic, codependent, and because it's the same actor, element of gothic doubling.
Yes.
The fact that they're Elijah and Elias, which is the same name.
Yes. Oh my god.
That's the same name, just one's Greek and one's Hebrew. The fact that they're smokestack twins, two halves of one word. The fact that when one's smoking a cigarette, they only ever smoke one cigarette. Did you notice?
Oh my god, yeah.
That they share it between them, and when Smoke has a cigarette, Stack has a toothpick, and that he only smokes it when it's handed back to him.
Yeah.
That they're just
so God.
They really are two halves of one person.
Yeah.
And when when Stack dies, Smoke says he was the best part of me. This I love them. The fact that we have the confirmation from Ryan Coogler that Stack just Smoke's hair and he chooses his clothes. Like, essentially deciding how they're gonna look when they go out, making these choices. I love this. I love this.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. So I was really fascinated and moved by that relationship. But yes, so yeah, really great movie, obviously.
I'm just, oh my god.
It's so great when something's good.
There's just still so much to say about
There's so much to say about it, but we've got to move on to the next thing on our list, so...
Yeah, and actually going through the same line, because what I really enjoyed about the film was that it really did feature, like, the things that happen to Black people as just, like, horror. Sometimes that's, like, the real horror. While also being really great at balancing it with our joy, and also how we tend to have to still find our joy even while we are like usually like suffering, and it kind of goes in line with like my next favorite, talking about like just like the horror of things that we experience as Black people, and that is The Reformatory. This is a book, a really amazing book. It's about a segregated reformatory in Florida, and there's a young boy who gets sent to this reformatory school, but, you know, essentially it's a prison. And the thing that is most interesting to me is that while you have these hates, but they're like actually just young boys who have been killed by the system while they've been in this reformatory school, but like the greatest horrors is like the actual adults around them, and I thought that was really sad and heartbreaking, but it's like really interesting how oftentimes like we don't, the horror is just like sometimes just life. So I really enjoyed that book, and you know, it's so good. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that one.
My second thing I watched early in the year, but it's still stuck with me. It is the David Lynch film Inland Empire. I watched it the day he died, because I wanted to see some of the ones I hadn't seen. Yeah. I actually left work early
I know. Oh, yeah.
That was the day where I was already like, oh, my stomach kind of hurts. And then someone messaged me, hey, David Lynch died. And I was like, I'm going home.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't want to be at work today. And so I just left. And I watched Inland Empire. It was always on my list, but it's 3 hours long. So I was like, I got to put aside time for it. So I just did that day. And no one can convince me it's not a horror movie. It is. I heard someone describe it as a descent into hell, and that is 100% accurate. It's his most, I would say, and this is saying a lot, it's his most, I would say, not obscure in the sense that, like, people don't find it, but obscure in the sense that it's hard to discern the meaning. Mm-hmm. It's the most opaque, I guess, maybe, of his films, which is saying a lot for David Lynch's films, but very experimental, very much playing with dream space and that surrealism and the tethers between reality and the subconscious. It's very vibesy. You just have to let it happen to you.
I still want to watch that.
I loved it.
But 3 hours.
3 hours is a lot, but you can really feel that it's like, it's also his first digital film, his first like thing shot on digital, mm-hmm. and he kind of like after that was like, I am only working in digital now, and you can feel it because you're able to experiment a lot and do things over and over again mm-hmm. on digital. Whereas for film, you have to have a full plan really before you hit,
right.
you call action, but digital you can play around. Yeah. So there's a lot of experimentation playing around in this movie, yeah. despite the very, like, the only approved synopsis he allowed for the movie was a woman in trouble. So that's the tone, but it's also very like experimental and fun and playful yeah. from like a technical point of view. So I really enjoyed it, and it really stuck with me after I watched it. So that had to go on my list.
I love it. I love that. It's going to go on my list to watch. I will watch it eventually. It's just, when I have that 3 hours extra to, commit to it.
Yeah.
But, okay, so next on my list, I have Monstrilio, which is another book I was reading a lot at the start of the year. At the start of the year. I've kind of been slacking the past couple of months, but I'm trying to get back onto it. Because actually I had started this earlier this year. Was it this year or the end of last year?
I think it was the end of last year.
Yes, I had started towards the end of last year. I have finally finished it. And it is so good. First of all, let me get into what it's about before I start getting into what, it's like exciting about it. So basically, you have these two parents, and they lose their child, and the mother takes a bit of her child's lung, the little boy, and he grows into a little creature. And for like the first part of the book, basically, they're taking care of this little creature. But what's really interesting that it comes out of their parents' grief. And it's a lot about this parental grief and what happens when you're so deeply like in this dark place that you're not really thinking about the child yourself, which it kind of thinks about. Like I was kind of thinking about Honorary the Vampire a little bit when I was when I was reading this, to be honest. When you're so deep in this grief that you're not really thinking about like consequences or anything else. You're just like, I just want my child. That's all that I want. And this grief is so overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was really interesting how they went about it. And how, it causes friction between everyone, even your other spouse, both of you are grieving, but you both are grieving in different ways, and the conflict is there. And then you are also, now you have this person who's kind of a creature, kind of a person, who is now kind of your son, but not your son. And so there's a lot of conflicting feelings there. But also you're growing to like love it just as your son, but also that caused conflict for the child as well, because it doesn't just, he doesn't just stay like a little, it's like a little, almost like a bad little creature at first. I won't give like spoilers, but he does grow up to be like a young man. However, he still has there's a lot of like impulses still there from when he was this little creature, because he's not an actual child, but also there's a lot of like humanity in there for him. So it's a lot of conflict for him, and he's having to navigate how to like be forced into living as just like a human when you have all these other like desires. And I think also what's really cool about it is that like everyone's fucking gay. Surprise. I maybe should let that out so that you could be as surprised as I was, because I went in not knowing it was going to be gay at all, to be honest. And then like as I went down the line, oh, you're a lesbian, oh, you're bisexual, oh, you're bisexual, oh, you're gay. Okay, well, the whole family out here. The whole family and everyone around them out here gay as fuck. But it was really good. And it's a little, there are some like traumatic parts in it, but it's, you know, it's a horror novel. So that's kind of to be expected. But just as a warning, if you do go in wanting to read it, there's like, you know, there's like some really bad violence in it as well. So just to be aware. But it's so good. It's so good. Probably one of my favorite books in like a long time. That one and The Reformatory, they're just outstanding. So I definitely recommend those if you're looking for like a horror novel to read, especially with characters that aren't white. And then of course this one also has queer characters. So there you go. Happy Pride.
Yeah. My third on this list is When Evil Lurks.
We both saw this.
Yeah, we saw this together. This was a rewatch for him, but a first watch for me this year.
It's fucked up. Oh, let me let you talk.
Yeah. I messaged him the next day, and I was like, this movie has evil in it. Like, not like, obviously in the title, but like, this movie is evil.
Yeah.
And I meant that as a compliment. Really disturbed my spirit. I couldn't tell you why specifically it did. I mean, obviously a lot of upsetting things happen in it, but for some reason, the last
afterwards,
situation
like,
in the movie where he's like finds the hair in the son's mouth, for some reason that really got me, and I can't fully articulate why.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, because like, but yeah, it's such a clear, I mean, I hate when it, like, you know, so many Latin American horror movies are about fascism, but this one has a very clear, like, fascist allegory. And the fact that the evil is attracted to fear, and when when the men are fearful, they react with violence, and the violence spreads the fear and the evil, and the first victims of it are the women and the children. And it's so, I do love that the movie was not afraid to do things that are typically seen as like too upsetting, like kids get hurt, animals get hurt, pregnant women get hurt. These things that like would normally, like these like categories that would normally be protected in a movie. Even though you'd be high stress, like I don't want anything bad to happen to them. It does, and it doesn't. It's not like it wants to make it a big shocking thing. A lot of the most upsetting scenes, I knew it was gonna happen, and they were drawing it out. The dread that you feel at knowing the thing is going to happen until it finally happens.
The scene with the dog.
The scene with the dog, we were watching through our fingers because I knew the dog was gonna
I had already
attack.
seen it, and I still was like...
I was like, I know it's gonna do it. I know it. And then it happened. I was like, I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why the line stuck with me so hard when it's like, evil loves children and children love evil. I'm not fully sure what I make of the line. I just know that it really... I sat there and I was like, this... I don't know why this particular line is sticking out to me.
Yeah.
But it is. Really good movie. But also trigger warning for literally everything.
Yeah. Nearly.
Mostly for a lot of things.
Yeah, but like, and like, I mean, it's fascism clearly. So, but like specifically like systematic oppression and patriarchal.
Yeah, well,
and,
because fascism relies on the patriarchy.
That's what I said. Essentially,
like any fascist regime is going at its heart have these other systems of oppression because it needs to. They're all intertwined. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
I think the fact that we see the first people who are kind of really affected by it are like indigenous.
Mm-hmm. Indigenous child.
Yeah.
And mother.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was such a good movie. I had added it to my list because I had seen someone make a thread on Twitter of movies that were evil, that the director put evil into. And I was like, sure, I'll watch it. Because sometimes I don't fully trust people. I just think they're kind of, like, I don't know. I'm like, I think this movie isn't as bad as you think it is. But I watched it and I was like...
Oh!
Yeah. It's like,
oh!
Put it on the list. So yeah, that's my third.
Yeah. Okay, so moving right along, because it is Pride Month, but also I really did enjoy playing this game.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched us, like, stream, we started...
twitch.tv/WeGotsInACoffin. We stream most Sundays. Sometimes
Sundays.
at 3 to 5.
Oh, we didn't tell the people that we weren't streaming today.
They figured it out when we didn't show up.
Well... We went to the expo instead.
We told people last week. If they didn't pay attention, that's on you.
Yeah, so like we started streaming, and the game that we started with was Sorry, We're Closed. You probably have heard about it. It's so gorgeous. The art is and everybody is so... If you want to see me thirst after some people, that's the game that you want to watch us play. So go back to our old VODs and check that out. Yeah. But we just finished it a couple weeks ago. Yeah. It's been a couple weeks. Yeah. Maybe a month at this point.
Maybe. That's a couple weeks still, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. We recently finished it, and it was so fun. And it's very, very, very gay, and like gender. What is gender? Yeah. It doesn't really. Yeah. It doesn't really exist. And also, there have been a lot of people who kind of compared it to like gay Silent Hill. I wouldn't exactly say that. Yeah. Like it's not as because we've been playing Silent Hill as well. It's definitely not as traumatic as that game. But I think it's more like in like the camera angles is where
I think some aesthetics. I had said to me it feels like almost like the game, like if the game Catherine was good.
I don't know that one.
It's
You probably have talked about it before.
We talked about it. Yeah, I had said it
because I haven't played it, so I'm like, I already don't know what that is.
We were talking about it a little. Because I was like, some of the like, not the art, but the actual like graphics. Yeah. Remind me, and the colors and that sort of like Technicolor hell sort of vibe.
It's easy to fuck up in that game.
It is.
Okay, so if you play it, be careful.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we still got a decent.
We got a pretty
decent ending, but we could have probably done better with some things. That was
yeah. So it reminds me of Catherine, except Catherine is an Atlas game, which means it's homophobic and transphobic at its heart and soul.
So yeah.
So that's why I was like, this is like if Catherine were good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I love the Duchess, and we are gonna get married.
Yeah.
You'll know when you see. And also I'm going to marry Robin as well. But, we don't need to worry about who all I'm marrying. Just, go check out the game. It's Pride Month. Go fucking be gay or something.
It's good. It's
really good. And after that, we have started playing South of Midnight. That's when our follow-up. And since I know that
we're gonna get to it when you go to honorable mentions.
Okay.
Not yet. Wait. We have a system. We do
have a system.
So my fourth thing.
Anyway, no.
I control the edit.
Wow.
If you want to control the edit, you learn how. There you go. So my fourth thing is an album, and it is Perverts by Ethel Cain.
And nobody was surprised.
Wow,
I'm kidding.
I was so excited for it. Because it took a bit for her first album to grow on me. I got into it once I learned the concept and then saw the music for it. Like, I was like, once I could tie the music to the concept and really see what was happening, then I got into the album. This one is exactly my type of thing. It's drones, it's ambient, it's not afraid of going on for 15 minutes. I love...
It's pretty good. I do like it too, to be honest. I don't listen to it like he does. Because, he listens to it all the time.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's good.
Yeah. I also love that it was such a hard pivot from her first album. That her first album was pretty straightforward. Indie pop. Indie, yeah. That sort of vibe. Kind of I guess, on the darker side of pop. And then this one was just full on, here's a soundscape recorded outside a power plant in Pennsylvania at 1 a.m. And I was like, yeah. With distorted vocals saying the same line over and over. But I love it. It's such an exercise in production. You're gonna find that it seems like a couple of my favorite things are it really felt like they were experimenting and playing with technical stuff, but it did feel like she was experimenting and playing with a lot of technical stuff, especially because I've known for a very long time that she loves ambient music, so kind of actually making her own ambient album, and I could feel some of the influences of people she's named as favorite artists before, Grouper, and, groups like that, artists like that. So I love it. It's great. I love the references that are just put straight up in there. The fact that she just full on quotes, "I have no mouth and I must scream" in it. It's very good. I enjoy it. So.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I'm going to follow along with that, with my own fave that is music. So I've been listening this year to a band called Cemetery Sex, and they are really great. They are a death rock band, and actually I have it right here. Where are they from? I'm going to tell y'all where they're from because I literally wrote about them in our last post. DC. Yeah, that's right. DC. I was like, why? Because I'm going to DC later this year. So I was like, it's somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, death rock band in DC, and it's led by a Black woman. So if you're looking for more bands led by Black goth people, there you go. It's led by Anastasia, The Dark, and I love their sound. It's so good. They have like 3 singles out right now. And all of them are really good, but my favorite is Velvet Tomb. So you should it's just like such a good earworm. I love it. I love it so much. So you should check it out. And I watched a live with her. Well, I watched like a few minutes of it. I was scrolling through TikTok and I was like, oh, hey, it's Anastasia. And apparently, don't take my word for it completely, because this is what I, saw her talking about, but they're going to be hopefully releasing an album soon. So, add them to your list. Really good. I've just been finding a lot of really great Black goth artists lately. So I love to see that, we've always been here. Mm-hmm. But it's always great to see new folks emerge. And I want to shout them out because I can't stop listening to them. So, that was my 5th one. Yeah. Hello? Okay.
And then my 5th one is also music. It's specifically a song. We put it in our Two Goths World Goth Day playlist, but I've also been listening to it on repeat since I found it. And I just think this artist needs to be shouted out in general because they only have 325 monthly listeners. But it is the song Folk Tanz by Bendi Boy, who is a South Korean post-punk artist. I love their sound so much. It's so good. Yeah, it's just a fun song. It's a fun, good, very old school sounding goth song. And I don't have much more to say other than go listen to this artist because she's very good.
We're putting you on today.
Yeah.
We're putting you on today. So go check out all these people. That actually, Cemetery Sex is also in our playlist. So you can go check out, I guess shameless plug, Go check out our playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, we have some more mainstream groups. We also have some deep cuts like this. And then there's another one that had it's just small groups because we just found them. And they're good, so they should get more listens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to get to now our honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. And I have my list here.
Yeah.
Now I'm allowed to talk about the first honorable mention is one of our ongoings.
We had some honorable mentions and also in progress stuff we're liking, and this is both for Honorary.
Yes. So, yes. Getting into now, finally, South of Midnight, which is a Southern Gothic video game with the protagonist is a Black character. And we love to see that. We love to finally see that. Thank you, God, even though I don't believe in you. But it's been so much fun so far. And I really love the art style. It's really different. The whole take is just, and so we haven't gotten super far into it. Yeah. So I can't speak 100% for how everything is done so far, but what I've seen up until now, I've really enjoyed how they're handling the culture so far. So I guess this is good for me not to be this is my favorite, but I think it's going to be a favorite. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a favorite, and so far I'm really enjoying it. So definitely, you can tune into it if you don't want to play it yourself, because it is a little, it was $40. It's not as bad as most video games are now, if you're being honest, because it's $60, $70. It's definitely worth buying. But if you just,
if you want,
usually broke like I usually am, and you just want to watch someone else play it, you can watch us play it. But if you have the money, definitely purchase it because it's worth it. But yeah, it's fun so far. I was gonna say something else about it, but it just jumped out of my head. So I love Hazel, and I love her relationship with her mom. That's what the story is about, family. and I'm interested in seeing where they go with that.
And I think on the same note as Sinners, in the sense of like celebrating Black culture without having Americana iconography.
Yeah, that, yes.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that. And also I do love how, for me, moments when I feel like a piece of media is doing well in capturing Black culture is showing how much community is central and important to us. Even from the very beginning of this game, like, she's like walking around her neighborhood and you can tell like she's very close to like her community. And so it's just, I love when that aspect is in a piece of media, because that is very central for our culture. Like, we are very community driven, and community is how we like take care of each other and protect ourselves. So I always appreciate that. And like Hazel's always like willing to like help other people so far. Like, she's so sweet. But also she has her conflict, because like her and her mom, like, they both like extremely love each other, but you know, they start off like the game with like arguing, which is very real. But it's just really good. You should go play it or watch us play it.
My first honorable mention, I think, is on both of our lists as well, which is the band Camlann.
Yes.
Which is an Indonesian post-punk
that was really good.
band.
They're really good.
I learned that apparently they started as teenagers as just like a fun little goof-off thing. And I'm like, that's so annoying when people are like, well, it's whatever. We weren't really serious about it, and it's like really good. So, but now they're more serious about it now. But it's very good music, very good. And that's on our playlist, and we did shout them out specifically. And they're also pretty small. I think they only have like 5,000 monthly listeners. And yeah, that's my first honorable mention.
And my second one, this one is my rewatch, and everyone has seen Possession. At least and if you haven't, you should go watch it right now.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much. It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
But in the best of ways. Actually, here's a reason why I watched it.
I was gonna say, was that a me recommendation?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. A couple years back, or last year.
I think it was last year.
Yeah, I hadn't watched it yet, but it's fine.
It's hard to, at the time, at least at the time when I watched it, it was hard to find. But I think recently, like after I had watched it, it got put on Shudder. So then it was way easier to find. Yeah. But before, if you want to watch it, you had to either pirate it or buy the DVD from someone. But yeah.
You want to talk about something that's fucked up? Possession is fucked up in ways that Nosferatu wished it was fucked up. But, you know.
Yeah. I feel like that movie has both the melodrama but the substance behind it to drive it, but also it's very bodily and nasty in a way that Nosferatu wasn't, where you had like them moving through the motions, but there wasn't like any I was gonna say it wasn't sticky. You know what I mean? Possession's a really sticky movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of textures and slime and ooze and like viscosity to that film that I think Nosferatu wanted to have but didn't.
I know this is controversial because y'all all love Nosferatu, whatever. But I don't care. We've already talked about it anyways.
We did a whole long video about how we didn't really love it.
No, and I went in wanting to love it. So I see so many people be like, you just don't understand freak shit. I'm like, no, you don't understand
freaks. Thomas and Ellen wish they had what that couple in Possession had.
Yeah.
It's really, really a performance of a lifetime. And I remember being so thrown because Sam Neill's in it. I'm like, the Jurassic Park guy's here?
I know, that's what I felt when I first watched it too. I was like, You're not supposed to be in this.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Life finds a way. Anyway.
Well.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to talk so much in your honorable mention.
No, it's okay. Like, this is something we both watched, so I don't really, yeah.
Also, second honorable mention for me is another song. This is not a new band. This is a very old band. I say very old band. They're from the 90s. And I've heard of them for a very long time.
You're saying that things from the 90s is old?
This band started when I was born, so if I call it old, I'm calling myself old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard of them for a long time, but finally, thanks to Spotify Discover Weekly, listened to this one song that I'm kind of obsessed with. It is a long song. It's like 14 or 15 minutes long. Or maybe it's like 12 to 14 minutes long. I don't remember exactly how long. It's long as hell. But it is the song The Dead Flag Blues by Godspeed You Black Emperor. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people already know about that band. I'm just obsessed with it because it starts with this narration that's very cinematic, and it has these movements of instrumentals that really tell the story. It apparently was like, the narration comes from a scrapped movie idea from one of the band members, and you really feel the storytelling with it, whether there's words or not. And I'm obsessed with the movements in it, and it has a very bleak, like, post-apocalyptic, but also like commentary on the death throes of capitalism. And there's a line in it that the thing that made me add it to like my liked songs, which was very early on in this song, was when he says like they opened their wallets and they were full of blood. And I loved that line of the imagery of it. Very beautiful. If you like long soundscapes, you should listen to it. So, it's on my repeat, which is crazy to have such a long song on your on repeat, but that's just me.
Spotify's like, damn.
Spotify's like, have you heard of normal? Have you heard of 3-minute songs? And I'm like, no.
Fuck that.
Not really.
So my last one is Grace. This is a short film. Yeah. And honestly, okay, so this was so fun. We got to go to like this micro film festival that was featuring short films written by Black queer women, and this one was one of them. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm going. Because I've been waiting to watch Grace already. And, like, technically it's online, and I could watch it online, but I wanted to be able to see it on the screen. Yeah. So, and with other people. Because, once again, community is everything to Black people, and there's a different experience when you're like watching it with like other Black queer people, like, and it was really nice. And afterwards they had like a whole like panel session with like some local Black queer activists, and that was really nice. But the film itself is really beautiful. We've talked about it a little bit, and like we did a review. We did just feel like it needed, obviously it's a short film, but like it could have used some more time. Could have stretched it out a little bit, but outside of that, I felt like it was a very beautiful depiction of the struggles that, you know, a lot of Southern Black queer people experience, and
especially in religious spaces.
Especially, I mean, that's why I said Black queer, because like most of us have some kind of religious background because it's so steeped into our community. Some of us continue to like follow religion afterwards. Some of us, like me, completely cut it out afterwards. But unless it's like spirituality, general spirituality. But yeah, it's just, I just thought it was a really beautiful depiction of that, and it was done. Like, it was a very beautiful, the cinematography was really beautiful. I really enjoyed that. And I'm always gonna, hype up, Black queer art. So there you go. So that was my last honorable mention. You should go watch it because it is available online. So do that.
So I have two last things. One is a short film I already mentioned in our kind of roundup that we did.
Our monthly recap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a short film called Portrait of God. That was one that's I wouldn't say so much fully the execution of it is what stuck with me, but the concept of it was so good. And I love the end of it so much. I don't even think the execution was bad. It's just I was expecting something else, or expecting more. But it's that's the short film conundrum, which is I wish more had happened, but I was it's a short film.
Yeah.
But it's such an interesting conversation about God, interestingly enough, where it's about this college student who's doing a presentation on this image that looks blank, but it's called Portrait of God, and people have experienced seeing the exact same image in it if they stare at it long enough. And it's kind of a monstrous image. And so the person stares at it and she doesn't see anything until she does. And if this is what God looks like, ooh, gross, scary.
Damn.
But it's also not, the image isn't, the entity is not, I would say, outright malevolent, but it's also definitely not benevolent, which falls into a type of portrayal of God that I find very interesting, which is as ambivalent observer.
Okay, yeah.
Which I just love exploring that sort of idea of God isn't good or bad, it just is.
Yeah.
And we project goodness onto it because the alternative is worse existentially, to be God's here but they don't care, they're not moved one way or another.
Interesting.
Yeah, the cold unfeeling universe. And then the last thing is in progress. I am reading Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. It is a Southern Gothic novel. It is, once again, trigger warning for literally everything. Very upsetting. I have seen the show, but I want to read the book because I know there were changes from the book to the show. And Gillian Flynn worked on the show and made those changes. So I want to see the book just to see. And it is a rough read, but also,
yeah, he's been telling me a little bit. I'm oh god,
yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm not gonna be reading that just because I don't know if I can handle all that right now.
Yeah, so the main character is a reporter who lives in Chicago now, but is originally from a very small town, a fictional town in southern Missouri called Wind Gap, and her editor sends her out there because one girl has been murdered, a young girl, and the other at the time was missing. Her body later turns up. Both girls were killed and all of their teeth were pulled out.
That's crazy.
Their ages were 9 and 10, very young. He sent her because it's a very small community, very rural town, and he was hoping that she would have an in as someone who's from there. But the politics of a tiny town, especially with someone who is kind of an outsider, who was an outsider even when she was there, and then the politics of it, because it's a really messed up town anyway. It's reverting back to the mindset of when she lived in this place. No one... In those types of places, people don't really grow up past a certain age, if that makes sense. When you stay in the same town and everyone you talk to is the same people you knew in high school, even when you're in your mid-30s, you still have the same dynamics that you did in high school. And it's just like this forced regression that she's in, and she's staying in her mother's house, and it's very messy, and she's seeing cycles repeat with her younger half-sister who's 13. And it's just really messy. Her relationship with her mother is terrible, but it's very subtle emotional abuse. That's the kind of thing that it's hard to, I don't want to say hard to complain about, but if you tried to explain to somebody, you would seem crazy. Mm-hmm. But it's insane. But yeah, I feel like that's a very popular book, a very popular show. But if you have no objections to all the triggers in it, murder, discussions of sexual assault, depictions of sexual assault, self-harm, abusive parents, pedophilia, and weird incest.
Yeah, it's a long list.
It's gothic. It's got the gothic stuff.
So be wary.
Yes, and from a character who is a very complicated person who has opinions that are not necessarily, I would say, she has worldviews that are not great by nature of having internalized a lot of the stuff that she grew up with. It's a very misogynistic town. It's a small town in the, South. So, yeah. Lots of messed up stuff. Lots of discussions about these societal, things that happen to women and how it's allowed to continue because of the normalization of it. And, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Gillian Flynn. She loves a messy...
That reminds me. I didn't put out really any warnings for the Reformatory, but there also is, child sexual abuse in that. So be careful if you read that one as well. That's another one that, just a little warning, if you go into that happens. And obviously, just the horrible, horrific racial violence that happens in that. But I was like, you said that, I was like, yeah, that one has some stuff in it too. So, if you're like, I want to read that, you definitely should, but just, I always like to, give a little warning, because even though it's horror, all horror has different types of horror within it, and some things people don't really want to read about.
Some people have different tolerances. I have a pretty high tolerance for most things, so I'm able to just, soldier through it, but I know a lot of people... it's troubling, and it's gonna affect you. Yeah. But you could always watch the show.
I don't know how closely the show is to the book, but sure.
There's there's things that are more hinted at, whereas in the book they just say stuff.
Yeah, which tends to be the case, especially with these horrors and gothic Southern Gothics. But yeah, so was that the last one?
That's it. That's all I
didn't have another one. I didn't know how many you had.
I didn't know how many you had.
We didn't talk about the honorable mentions. We had our 5 favorites, and then that was it. Yeah. But I guess really quickly, is there anything that you're looking forward to seeing or reading after this?
Yes.
I have a couple, so I want to...
But I need to grab my phone.
I'll grab it, because right now, the whole world is...
On my knee.
On your knees. Okay, then I'll start, then while you look for that.
Yeah.
So, there's a little video game that I do want to play. It's not out yet. I don't know when it's going to be out. It's in development. Who knows how long it's going to be in development, but it's a little indie game called Grave Seasons. It's a...
Oh, yeah.
It's on a lighter note. And it is a creepy horror farming sim. And it's going to be very queer as well. And so I am looking forward to playing that when it finally comes out. I do hope it's going to be on a Switch, because I do love a farming sim that I can sit and play in bed and not have to sit up on my PC. I love my PC. I love playing things on it, but I love to play a farming sim in bed. 'Cause that's just my preferred. Stardew Valley. I'm always gonna. I don't want to play it on my PlayStation. I might not PlayStation on my PC. Like I can, and sure I'll have mods, but I'd rather be able to just be cozy. I mean, it's a cozy game. I want to be cozy. I have one more, but I'll let you go next.
If you would let me click, I'm gonna lose it. I'll just look at this screenshot I have. It is a book that is literally gonna be what I read next. But it is called The Unworthy by the author Agustina Bazterrica. She also wrote Tender is the Flesh, which is a very popular book that I didn't read, but I know it's about cannibalism. I didn't read it, though.
And he hasn't read it yet?
Because I'm not sure. No. Because I'm not sure about it because it's like one of those things where it's like the meat industry and we're just going to make a parallel with cannibalism. And I'm like, I don't know that I love that. It's like eating a cow is the same as eating a person. And I'm like, not really. There's differences. But The Unworthy is about a cult of nuns.
That's hard. As soon as you say cult, I already know.
I know, a cult of nuns who
that does already
stick
sound
needles in their skin.
Oh.
Is what I had it sold to me as.
And that's how they sold it to you?
Yes. I was like, what is up with that? Did you have anything else?
Yeah, so this one, I have seen it. Like, I don't know all the details about it, so I'm not going to, like, talk extensively about it, but I have seen it on a few horror lists for like Black authors, and it's called Ring Shout, and I'm pretty sure like it's about like someone hunting down demons like summoned by the KKK or something like that. So they're hunting down these demons in the KKK, essentially.
There's so many cat hairs.
There's so much cat hair, but like, what are you gonna do? And so it really sounds really interesting though. So I'm looking forward to reading that next. Maybe I do have like a lot of books that are like piled up. Oh yeah. But it's on my list, and it's one I'm looking forward to. So there's that, and that's all that I really got. So yeah, that's been our faves for the mid-year. Yeah, this is our like mid-year check-in for what we've kind of really been into for 2025. Yeah. Let us know what your faves are, what things you're excited really for. So far this year. Yeah. We'd love to see. Sinners. Yeah. But you can comment about that again. Yeah. Add what you're looking forward to. Maybe we can add it to our things that we're looking forward to, and maybe if you name something that you've liked that we haven't seen, and it doesn't have to be new. It's just stuff that you've discovered this year that you got really into. Obviously, I named a movie from 2001. So like, it's gonna it is what it is. Like, it just is stuff that's caught your attention this year. Our favorites from this year that we've enjoyed so far. Yeah. Okay, that's how we're doing this. So we'll probably do another one of these. But I think that's really it. You should you should be following us. Yeah, follow us on all of our socials. They're in our description. You should follow us on Twitch, especially. And you should follow us or listen to our podcast, Straight from the Coffin. Yeah. You can listen to it here on YouTube. You can also follow us on Buzzsprouts, so that you know when we post it and stuff. And then you can also support us there if you want to. So it's Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Music, and of course here on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Give us a follow. You can actually like monetarily support us now as well if you want. Throw $1 at us. You know, something. So we can like eventually get a desk. Well, a desk. Get me a desk. But also get Jude a new computer so that he can edit faster. Yeah, the reason why there's so many gaps is because, as I said to you once, my computer is powered by a hamster on a wheel. Yeah. It melts if I have too many programs open. So, yes. And he has to do it all by himself, 'cause I'm just here to look pretty. Well, anyway. Wow! Okay. That's it. That's been our video, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.